What is atheism? I mean, if you try to make any videos or talk about atheism as a worldview, as if it has positive beliefs, you will be immediately shut down. And they'll say, it's not a worldview. We just lack a belief in God. That's it. I mean, here's an example.
So I'm going to be talking about in this video how the atheistic worldview is philosophically and intellectually void.
Well, that's not a good start. Only 18 seconds into your video, and already one factual inaccuracy. Atheism is not a worldview. It is merely the answer to a single question on a specific topic. I.e., do you believe in a God?
But no matter...
Whoa, now hang on a second. Anyone who has watched that video, i.e. the one that my quote came from, may realize a very important fact. Half of my answer has been cut out, i.e. I am being quote mined to present my argument and my position at a weaker position than it really is. So if we could just pause this entire discussion and actually go back and play the full clip of what I said in response to the vigilant Christian's factual error. 18 seconds into your video, and already one factual inaccuracy. Atheism is not a worldview. It is merely the answer to a single question on a specific topic. I.e., do you believe in a God? An atheist is a person who has gone out there and weighed up the evidence and analysed it and come to the realisation that currently there is no justification, zero reason to accept the existence of a deity, and therefore they reasonably state no. Secularism and humanism are certainly global ideologies, and maybe you'd be more apt talking about those on a global scale, but not atheism itself. Right, so you see that I mentioned both secularism and humanism as global ideologies. This is key as it completely renders apart your future asininity. Greetings and welcome there people of YouTube. This is Essence Forte doing a video response to UEnjoyChrist once more, who, as noted, has just quote mined me, and really this is just one of his mortal cock-ups. So, without any further delay, let us continue.
But no matter what is said, make no mistake about it, it is a worldview with multiple denominations.
Well, that's not possible. You see, denominations all share the same core text, they just interpret it differently. In atheism, there is no core text to speak about, ergo, you are wrong.
And you know, you have to ask the question, why the sidestepping? Why the smokescreen? Why try making people ignore the obvious? What are you trying to hide? And I'm not going to try to answer these questions myself. I'll let those watching think about the possible reason.
No, the real question is, why the red herring from the side of the theist? I mean, often they claim that atheism is a religion, or, like you, a worldview with denominations, which is an attempt to put out the atheist as just as dogmatic as us, which screams bloody irony because then it points out the fact there's something to be ashamed about in being religious. So, yeah.
Well, some of the beliefs of atheists are not hidden now thanks to a relatively new atheist monument in Stark, Florida. And this is David Silverman, the president of American Atheists, sitting on the monument at its unveiling. And this monument sits near another monument of the Ten Commandments at the Bradford County Courthouse. Now, there are 4 sides to the monument, 2 sides of which are dedicated to contesting any idea that the United States was founded on Christianity. And of course, that debate will probably continue forever and is not as interesting to me as the other 2 sides. Now, the one side that I'm interested in basically says, you know, we should not build churches, we should build hospitals. So it's talking about things we should and should not do, what we ought to do, what we ought not to do. And it says things like we should care for the needy. It must be right to do that. It's right to care for those who are diseased. It's wrong not to do so, to spurn them. And it's right to stop fighting. It's wrong to have wars.
Okay, first of all, that's not what it says at all. the quote from a single atheist, aka Madeleine Murray O'Hair, the founder of the American Atheist, does not make any claim about what is right or wrong. All it is meant to do is prick the conscience of the person reading it, i.e. they themselves have to distinguish which one is right or wrong. She doesn't assert that anywhere. Also, does this single person speak for every atheist? No. My point at the start of the video about how atheists are people who have gone out there and analysed the evidence and reasonably come to the conclusion that there is currently no justification for a God was criticised in that video, not by theists but by other atheists. You see, sometimes we make these general statements and they're not 100% factually accurate, they're just a very poetic sense of speech. That's all they are. No one really claims it to be anything else. Beyond that, it's just meant to provoke thought. And atheism still is just a lack of belief in God. However, there are other aspects to look at, but we'll come to those.
And my question is, why should we do or not do these things? What is your basis? What is your foundation? It can't be because you lack a belief in God. These beliefs do not follow from that singular definition that atheists give to atheism.
Which is okay, because atheism is not my singular defining trait, nor of anyone else. I can see why you didn't want to share this video with me, and I had to get it through subscriber/fellow vlogger, aka Firewalker 92615. Be sure to go check out her channel and her videos, they are of good content. But you know, what I mean by this is the fact is, because it's all recorded, it's very hard for you to warp what I say when I've already covered my intellectual arse if you just showed the quote in its full. American atheists are a secular organization, i.e. they follow the secular ideology of the separation between church and state, which is described by Thomas Jefferson in a letter about the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. So the separation of church and state stuff on the rest of the monument, it is very much vital to pointing out why you are just completely ignorant about everything going on here. I mean, also a good number of American atheists I would certainly describe as humanists, which gives them the moral basis that then O'Hair was using when trying to prick the mind of the reader to discuss whether we should build churches or hospitals. So, yeah, you need to take everything into consideration, including what you attempted to get rid of by quote mining me. Breaking the 9th commandment when I've got everything recorded just doesn't work.
So there's something more to atheism than we just lack a belief in God.
No, there is more to my identity than my position on the existence of a mythical being. I am fundamentally a human, but I am also an atheist, a humanist, and a secularist. You need to stop thinking of people as just one thing and start thinking of them as a collective of ideas and positions and ideologies, all interworking with one another. You're taking such a reductionist stance that you have no argument to base off.
Now, on the other side of interest is not the 10 Commandments, but the judgments that are spelled out in the Bible, along with the verse references as to what should happen or what the judgment should be when one breaks those commandments.
See, you're just that predictable that even American atheists knew that you were going to make this video and you were going to lie about what I said, and therefore they wanted to make sure that you knew the consequences of breaking the 9th commandment. Joking aside, this was erected next to a pre-existing list of the 10 commandments in a public courthouse after the state refused to remove it, but of course due to the Establishment Clause previously mentioned, they then had to allow for any group to put a monument there. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to make people aware that these laws that you're presenting in a public space, even though that's unconstitutional, have these consequences which you do not desire.
And I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to communicate here. On the one hand, I believe the message they might be trying to send is, hey, you're not following the Bible. You're not doing these things, these judgments. not knowing, of course, that those judgments were only for Israel and for a specific reason.
Of course, how could I be so stupid to not remember that the God of the Bible is a subjective God, i.e. the God of subjective morality, i.e. Jesus never did come down and state, I have not come to abolish the laws or the prophets, but rather to validate them, and to all my followers the laws remain valid until the end days. Oh, that never happened, you know. That would of course take something like, reading the flipping Bible.
But on the other hand, I think they're also trying to call out God in the Bible as carrying out cruel and unusual punishment. Again, insinuating a right and a wrong. And I ask again, based on what? And therein lies the problem. In atheism, and I'm speaking of materialist atheism, which says that human beings are merely material. In materialist atheism, as I've said in previous videos, there is no such thing as right or wrong, ultimately. And this is not hard to imagine. If we took the brains of all the people who came up with these statements and we put them on a table in front of us, could we classify one brain as right and the other brain as wrong? That's just the thing. There is no right or wrong. Material cannot be right or wrong. And that's where atheism goes bankrupt. And any judgment that an atheist makes, if they are merely material, is just like gas rising as a byproduct of a chemical reaction. And that byproduct is neither right or wrong.
I actually don't get how many fallacies came out in that 1 minute segment just now. I mean, that was just off the charts. But the fact is, your God's supposed objective morality is detestable by today's standards. It's very disgraceful. I mean, you yourself prove this in your attempts to dodge them, stating that they are for an older time period. It's so ironic to watch you do that, even though your God is supposedly the God who never shifts, like the shadows, and has specifically stated otherwise. It is quite ironic, really. I mean, we as a human species have developed ethics, which allows us to discuss morality on a meta-ethical level, so we can explore this field and we can challenge one another, whereas you really can't challenge anything. I mean, if you took the Bible to be factually true and the Word of God, you have to objectively accept that slavery is a God-given right. We, in the secular world, can make progress and advance to realize that our past prejudices are invalid and we can shift from that. We can become better people. That's why you are stuck in the past, because you can't move on from claiming objective morality.
So based on this, guys, I really think you should have played it safe and stayed consistent with what you've been saying for the last several years. You just lack a belief in God. But then again, I'm not sure that it would have given people passing by much to really talk about.
Or maybe you not attempting to deceive people in what I said, etc., would be preferable. The American Atheists are a secular organization, and I would argue share humanist values, or at least a good majority of them certainly do. Notice that the monument states on the front, American Atheists, not merely atheists. It is an organization. That's why it includes their logo. Therefore, it is their own institutional stance on a global ideology. So yes, now I'm actually going to try something a little bit different. I'm not going to go straight to my signing out. I'm going to do something just before then. You see, I am going to hopefully start responding to either some comments or some very short blog posts at the end of a video, sort of like a little extra tidbit on the end. So today I have got another short blog post from the Christian team, which I'm sure is going to be absolutely amusing. So with that said, let's get on to it. School may have already started for some of you, and may not start until this month for some of you. So some of you are getting back to the usual boringness, but maybe you are like me who liked school but not the teachers. Most public schools teach, well, obviously one thing they don't teach is proper grammar. You need to capitalise that at the beginning of the sentence. Scientific hypothesis as fact, such as the Big Bang Theory and evolution. Well, the Big Bang Theory and the theory of evolution are called theories because in science, a theory is a supported, concept linking facts. It is an explanation of natural phenomena. That's why it has the term theory. A scientific theory is very different to the colloquial sense of a theory, which would be on par with a hypothesis. You are attempting an equivocation fallacy here. That's the major issue. When I went to my biology class, I always changed the name to science fiction class, since, not capitalised again, evolution is science fiction in my opinion. Well, guess what? Biology and evolution doesn't give a crap about your opinion. Science is, deal with it. Anyway, as you may know, I get tons of hate mail from people because of the videos I make and the things I post as a Christian teen. Well, yeah, when you make racist and sexist content, you're gonna get critiqued for it. Now, just classing that as hate mail? No, not really. You're just being critiqued for being a little shit. I recently took a week off of the computer and did not make any videos and just had a vacation with family. It was very refreshing not to be called a ton of unflattering names from people who I never met. And yet you call people sinful on a daily basis, and that's okay. Double standard there. Breaks are nice, whether it's a school break or that should be whether it's a school break or a break from society or a break from social media or whatever. You should use commas and list. It is always nice to take a break, relax, and know God is with you and allow Him to re-strengthen you. Why do you know to capitalise God and Him, but you don't know how to capitalise the beginning of a sentence? Why? That is what church on Sunday is, by the way. It is for you to take a break from worrying about life and struggles and all earthly things and allow God to refocus your eyes on Him. We all need breaks. One break a week is what God wants us to have. And sometimes we need an extra few days or weeks for our breaks. Not everyone can take a long vacation to the Bahamas to take a break. But not everyone can take a long vacation to the Bahamas, take a break to go to church once a week to get refocused. That last sentence was just messed up. So yeah, sign the Christian team. Yeah, that's the sort of thing you're dealing with. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to click like, comment, subscribe, and also share on Facebook and Twitter. It does help when you guys share on Facebook and Twitter. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about that. So yeah, if you want to support my work, then please check out my Patreon. This is Essence of Thought, hoping you're all doing well. Take care and out.